Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name's Annie, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about work and life. I've been doing a lot of beauty videos lately, so I figured I would talk about work, but if you are new, you should probably know what I do for a living. I am a national correspondent, and I do consumer news for Scripps Media. It goes out to local television stations that are a part of Scripps nationwide. So I get to travel. I'm based in Denver, but I've been doing this for about 6.5 years. I've only been with this job for almost a year, but I've worked in local news before. Kind of like a quick little wrap up of my career. I started in San Francisco where I went to school, interned there in the city, and then I moved to Michigan, which was like market 213, so it's basically the lowest you can go. And then I went to Lubbock, Texas, which I just love Texas so much. And then moved to Charleston, South Carolina, where SHIT hit the fan and we had national news like the whole time I was there. Then a year ago, I moved to Denver to take this national position, so I feel like I finally got to where I wanted to be in my career after working so hard, horrible hours, and just, you know, sacrificing a lot. And a lot of people know what I'm talking about. If they're in this business, you sacrifice a lot. So I'm kind of talk about something I really haven't talked about that much, and it's like work life and experience and kind of life lessons. I hope this video is not going to be like super long, but I feel like it's necessary because if you're starting out or if you're where I am in your career, you can relate to me at least. God, comment below and tell me you can relate, because sometimes I feel like I'm so alone in this. But I'm definitely doing this for people who are newer in this business too, because I wish I knew so many of these life work lessons. I feel like things would have been a lot easier and I wouldn't have felt so like, why me? But anyways, I numbered them. I have so many, so this is kind of out of order-ish, but number one, find a good mentor in this business. I've had a few. It's really hard to find like a really good mentor that's gonna look out for you and give you advice without feeling like these young things are coming up on our career and I'm gonna be pushed out and they're gonna be coming in. I have someone right now who I just admire so much. She was in the news business for a long time. She was the main anchor in Los Angeles for quite some time and then realized, you know, I want something bigger and better. But she decided to get off camera, and now she's like running a whole side of a huge broadcasting company and doing shows that are nationwide and talk shows. So she's freaking awesome and I love her so much, and she gives me such like motherly advice. And she's not harsh. Sometimes I feel like women mentors can be very harsh and abrasive, but like I don't need that. I don't like it. It's not how I learn. That's not how I just feel comfortable talking to someone. I like advice that my mom would give me, except my mom's not in this business, so it's so important to get a mentor that really knows what they're talking about and looks out for your best interest too. Especially when it comes to getting the time where you are thinking about getting an agent, having a mentor is really helpful because that is a process all in itself, and I feel like that's a whole other video. Two, you don't reach the top alone. I know some of these are like, well, duh, but that is something you have to remember. Like, you did not get to where you were by yourself. So always remember who helped you get to where you were and be thankful. And even if it was the people who treated you like crap, just know those are the people that pushed you farther, the ones who told you, this package you did was absolutely horrible. I can't even believe you're in the news, because that's happened to me. But then I just look back and I'm like, look where I am now, biatch. Thank you so much for putting me down. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Number three, loyalty is to yourself. So many people are like, you gotta be selfish in this business, but being selfish in this business or any kind of like job you're in doesn't mean walk all over other people, trample on them to get to what you know where you want to be. I've never done that and I will never do that. I think it's poor taste, and I've had people do it to me, and I just find it, you know what, karma is going to get you later on in life, because that is not how I work. But just know that of course you're going to make friends in this business, but you have to remember, like, You need to look out for yourself and always be aware of what's going on around you. Are there other opportunities? Are other people just not being very nice to you and you should probably stay away from them because you can't trust them. That's the biggest thing I have learned. So many people are like, gotta be selfish. And that was hard for me, but now I totally get what they meant. And sometimes like it sucks, but years of experience, like that's how, you know, you learn all these things. Let's see here. Embrace those who are better than you. I learned this when I moved to Lubbock, Texas. I feel like I talk about her all the time, but Christy Harton, I'll continue to give you a shout out, girl. She was the anchor for the 4 p.m. now. I think maybe she's still doing that, but she worked at KCBD. She still works there. Look her up. Beautiful. But she is someone that I looked up to and I still look up to her. She embodies a true like broadcast, like journalist, but she can be herself and she's very warm. And I think that's so important, even when you're doing hard news, to be warm so people really are engaged with you. And I loved watching her every single day. Like I would be like, can I run prompter just so I could watch her? I love to work with people who are better than me. When I started realizing at my last job, this sounds horrible, but it's so true, that I was not better than people, but I was at the same level as people who were kind of doing this for a long time. I knew I need to get out. Like I've outgrown that market. And that's when I realized I'm not learning anything anymore because I can't teach myself anything else. So always be grateful if someone is better than you. Okay, number 5, let's see here. Oh, at the end of the day, this is not brain surgery and it's not life or death. There are so many news directors and executive producers who put so much pressure on us reporters to be the best you can be and like get this story and do that and you better get the mom who, you know, the person who died, and you're just like, oh my God, do you know what you're asking me? And you're talking to me as if it's just like, oh hey, just go down the street and say hi to a few people. It's like, no, that's not how it works. And also things don't happen like that overnight. So just remember, like, when the times you feel like you failed at something or you didn't get that story or you didn't get that interview, at the end of the day, this is not brain surgery. This is not life or death. You are not curing cancer. Sorry to say it. So just remember when your head hits that pillow that it's okay if things didn't go your way that day, if things didn't go your manager's way that day, because you have tomorrow and you have the next day. And some days you win some and some days you lose some. And that's just the way it's gonna be. Even for people in the top, you know, markets, the networks, like that's how it is. Like we all have those bosses, those managers who are kind of unrealistic with the way they ask things of reporters. I'm really lucky right now. I got some great managers, but I also feel like I've worked my ass off to get good managers. So let's see here. Keep your eye on the prize and stay in your own lane. Let me tell you something. I should have learned this in South Carolina, but I did not. South Carolina got so bad for me that I feel like the station was kind of crumbling around me. Now it's doing a lot better, but I, at that time, was so negative. I remember every day, I'm being real with you guys right now. Every day I would get in the live truck with my photographer and I would just bitch and complain. Now looking back, I'm like, what was I really bitching about? I just remember I was so negative, and I look back and I feel so bad that I was like that to my photographer, because every day I feel like he had to talk me off a ledge. But that really taught me that when I got to this job, is that, you know, when things don't like go your way, or not necessarily go your way, but like say you're working with someone who's, you know, they don't like the managers or they're not happy. It's like you gotta stay in your own lane. If it doesn't truly affect you and your work, you can't worry about it. Other people are gonna be upset about things, miserable about things, but if it doesn't affect you, stay in your own lane. Don't even gossip about it. You can listen to it, but don't worry about it because it's not your problem. But once it starts affecting you, like those things that they're complaining about also affect you, then you have a problem, and that's when you need to stand up for yourself. Next one. Remember, this too shall pass. That kind of goes along with, you know, this isn't brain surgery. There are a lot of times, especially when you're trying to get a new job. Oh, people out there, you know what I'm talking about. When you're trying to get a new job and you're just like, I can't, like, nobody likes me. I must not be good at this. I don't know why anyone's not contacting me. It's been forever. My stuff's on YouTube, or I have an agent. Like, why? And just know that it will come. Like, that day where you get a new job will come. I promise you. I promise you. And sometimes it's when you just kind of throw your hands up in the air and you just let it go to the universe. Because we've all been there. I mean, I've been there so many times that I'm like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get a job. Like, I think I'm good, but clearly I'm not good if no one's picking me up right now. Sometimes, like, these other stations that you want to apply to, like, they go in waves of when people leave. So just know you will get a job. Let's see here. Be thankful to those around you. That kind of goes to the same thing as find someone who's better than you, and just be thankful that they are freaking awesome and you're gonna learn from them. Always leave on good terms. So this is something that I've learned from other people and how they don't leave on good terms. And I saw how that affected them getting jobs later on, or just, this business is so small. Like, when I tell you it's so small, every single job I've been to, they've known people that I'm like, what? How did you know that person? Or how did you come across? Like, even from people that I worked with in Texas, and like, oh, I worked with her in Alaska. It's like, what? Oh my God. So just know, always leave on good terms. That is something that I pride myself on. Even when I remember there was this one executive producer, we did not get along. I mean, it was so bad. Like, we had to go to HR, we had to go to the news, like, not the news director, but like the general manager. Like, I got so many stories for you. I could give you stories all day. But with all these people that, if we've ever had issues, because you're working with people who aren't from the same place, or, you know, kind of family life as you, or life dynamic that you grew up in. So you're working with people that, you know, you might not necessarily be friends with. So I had such a problem with him. And when he left, though, I wrote him a thank you card of the things that I did appreciate from him. And that meant a lot to him. And I just know that, like, although we never really clicked, I know in life, if I ever want to get a job where he was, he definitely would put in a good recommendation, because I told him that even though we had these issues, I still appreciated him and I still was thankful for him. So I think it's so important to always find the good in somebody, to be able to say thank you for that. Because at the end of the day, in this business, like, there are some bad people, but majority of people are good, and they all want the same thing you do. So, let's see here. Number 10, stand up for yourself and don't get walked over. Let me just tell you something. It took me 5 years to learn that. And I guess 5 years in this business to learn that, but it took me like 27 years to learn that. This year, I really learned that lesson. And really, it's just about standing up for yourself. It was so hard for me to ask for what I want, or like even enter confrontational situations. Most of the time, I remember I talked to someone and they're like, Annie, you need to put on your big girl pants, because at the end of the day, always think about what's the worst that could happen. What's the worst that could happen? And I would always put in my mind, this is the worst thing that could happen. When I finally let that go and knew, okay, if that was to happen by confronting situations or standing up for myself, I could deal with that. I could still live with that. I'd have to change kind of my mindset of how I looked at work, but I could deal with that. And that has helped me so much, of standing up for myself. And let me just tell you something, I've gotten a lot more respect standing up for myself, and a lot of that respect comes for myself. And I want to respect myself so that, you know, I don't get walked over. And that's the most important thing, is to like yourself, respect yourself, and other people will do the same. I promise you. It's not as hard as it sounds. Yeah, I can't tell you enough. Like, that is, I could cry over that, because that is something that I learned this year, and I'm so thankful for it. Confrontation is not my best friend, but I'm okay with going into a situation knowing that I'm standing up for myself, because I got to a point this year that I was like, you know what? I've sacrificed so much of my life for this job, and I will not let anybody tell me otherwise, that, you know, I can't say these things, or I'm not allowed to stand up for myself, or I can't have an opinion, because I never do it disrespectfully. But I just realized, you know what, I am allowed to have an opinion. I am allowed to share my voice, and no one's ever going to silence me when it's affecting me in a negative way. So, preach, sister, right? Let's see, number 12. I'm almost done. I know this video could be like super long. Number 12. Get everything in writing. And when I mean everything, I mean in capital letters, EVERYTHING. I want to share some stories, but I'm trying to think like if I really can share those stories. I just have been screwed over a couple times that I wish I had that in writing, because a lot of people talk a big talk, or talk a big game. Is that how you say it? Talk a big game? No. And then when push comes to shove, that doesn't happen. But if it was in writing, it would have to happen. Otherwise, your contract would be broken from the other side, you know? Because managers always worry that you're going to break the contract. It's like, well, let's hope that you don't break my contract. So that goes along with make sure your job is secure. Sometimes things happen where companies get bought out, or you don't end up getting the promotion that you want, or I'm trying to think of other examples, or they're starting to just fire people, because that's happened. My last job, it was like a mass exodus. So it's just really important to know how secure your job is. Even though you sign like a 2-3 year contract, it's like, okay, but again, they could always break it on their end, and they're corporate, so they feel like since they're higher up, they have more money, they can trample on good old little reporters and anchors, you know what I'm saying? So it's always important to know, like, hey, if we were to get bought out, like, I just want to make sure I have my job, can we get that in my contract, in writing, because I've been at 2 stations now, one station that got bought out, and that's where that mass exodus took place. So I hope you guys learned some valuable lessons, or at least go, you know what, girl, I've been through the same exact thing. I feel ya. Like, I feel like, though, I've heard from other reporters and anchors that, like, what I'm talking about is totally normal. But if you guys want to know anything more, or specific questions, or about specific stations that I've worked at, let me know, because I am an open book. Of course, can't divulge everything, but I've had a really good run, and I'm continuously on this marathon. So just ask me any questions. I am here for you, because at the end of the day, I wish I had someone on YouTube that I could watch and that would give me this advice. I love beauty. I love all that kind of stuff. But this is the stuff that's like meaningful, and I need to hear, because sometimes you just feel alone, especially that when you move away from your family and your friends and your comfort zone. And so having someone that's like, listen, I'm right there with you. I'm riding this out with you. So just know that there's someone else in this boat to make you feel comfortable and safe. So I am here for you guys. I love you. Subscribe, and hopefully more videos will come that are like this. I'm trying to think of what else to do. So comment below on what else you guys want to see. Have a great day.